not those general problems, like personal problems, or just things you feel like, why am I the only one that finds this thing hard, or why am I the only one? So hey guys, and welcome back to the channel. It's Chilo here once again, as always. So first, I want to start by saying super congratulations to all of you that are making your way down to Japan, either because of work or through work, or through studies, or through language school, just through any means. I've had like this phase, this period, I'm not even going to lie, it feels like at least every week I have one person, or even more than one on some weeks, saying things like, oh Chilo, I just got my visa. Oh Chilo, I'm in Japan. Oh Chilo, I was like, what's going on? Is there a bell they rang that we did not hear about? But yes, I'm happy for everybody. Congratulations, guys. Thank you to all the people that have sent their love and well wishes and their compliments. Some people have gone as far as saying, oh, your video helped in one way or the other. Thank you. I mean, that's one of the purposes I created this channel, so that people don't struggle with the things I struggled with. But in the same vein, where I've had people literally reach out with that good news of, oh, I'm coming to Japan, I've also had some people, stay a little while and send me emails, fan, let me put this out there. I might not reply to every email. That's why I categorically say only send an email if it's for a paid advert or a collaboration, because I don't have PA. Is one Chilo doing YouTube, one Chilo doing PhD, one Chilo doing life, one Chilo doing correspondence and PA work. But I read as much as I can, And some people say things like, oh, they are going through some challenges. And, it's not just those challenges that is general. Let's say you don't know where to get black girl products from, or black hair products from, or food stuff. It's not those general problems, like personal problems, or just things you feel like, why am I the only one that finds this thing hard, or why am I the only one finding it hard to like integrate or settle down? I've come to tell you that you're not the only one. It's just that a lot of times, we go through the years, we go through life, and we don't say the cumulative of things that has happened. We just come here and share bits and bits of things, and it looks like, oh, life is perfect. Life is not perfect though. I've lived here for 4 years plus, I think 4 years and 6 months. And I just want to tell you that it is not a sprint, it's a marathon. There's been tears, there's been falls, there's been mistakes, and that's what today's video is about. Just so that maybe you would relate to something and understand that even this Chilo you're seeing like this, there's it's not been all perfect, right? I'm not saying that on the average everything has been bad, but I'm just saying this could help someone out there. This is just going to be a sweet, sour, bitter, every kind of emotion, feelings. And just so that this video can reach as much people as possible, I'm going to share every aspect. When I mean every aspect, this video is going to cover my personal, like, relationship. It's going to cover my relationship status, from 2018. It's going to cover my financial status. It's going to cover my faith. It's going to cover expectations, my career, my studies, everything. Whichever one you relate to, I really hope this video helps someone. I just have it strong in my feeling to do this video. Also, I had this inspiration from Aobiwom here on YouTube. She did like a 4 years recap. She's a YouTuber based in Poland, and she did something like 4 years recap. And I'm like, this is a nice video to do. So this is just a 4 years recap after living in Japan. What is it like really living in Japan for 4 years plus, and what has the experience been like? And I will start from the very beginning. Beginning, I know. If you're Nigerian, I know that joke. But yeah, I came to Japan in 2018, September precisely, September ending. And when I came to Japan, I was very single Pringle. When someone say very single Pringle, like I was not in a relationship, I was in dating. And I know some people message me and say, oh, my friend, I've done a video on being single and all those kind of things. And I remember that some people had concerns, which is, I think, normal from the emails I read sometimes. I had people that literally couldn't hold back. They said it to my face, like, this one you're going to Japan for so long. What's the plan? Marriage is not on the table. and all those kind of things. I had people that couldn't say it out, but body language. I had people that said it to my parents, my siblings, like it was a concern, because I was very, very single. And if you don't know, I was not bothered. I just feel like I sorted it out with God, like, God, you will do it when you will do it and how you will do it. So that's for the relationship status, right? So I came in 2018 September, and a single Pringle. Life was chill. I would say I was in the honeymoon phase as usual. I was excited. That was my very, very first time of leaving Nigeria. I was so happy. Japan is a very beautiful country, very developed country. And to make matters more interesting or more fun, I came here fully funded. So what was there not to be happy about? But one thing I'm not going to lie, I struggled with in that first year was fitting into my lab and fitting into my career. Now, what do I mean? All my life, trust me, I studied pure and industrial chemistry from UNN, and I'm a first class graduate. But I know all my life, I've known chemistry to be physical chemistry, inorganic chemistry, organic chemistry, analytical chemistry, right? And just other some branches here and there that we did like elective in my final year. But I have never known chemistry to look like biology, to look like dealing with virus, like medical science. Like, do you get where I'm coming from? And I came to a lab where, in my lab, we're dealing with like, bioanalytical chemistry. There's virus, there's exosomes, there's DNAs, stuff like that. So it's something I really struggled with. I know some days I will feel like, when will I get to this person's stage? Like, it just felt like it was an out of body experience. I had to learn from the beginning. So that is one lesson I'm just trying to share. I don't know how this video goes. I had to learn from the beginning. I asked questions. In short, I still do. I asked a lot of questions. I made a lot of mistakes, but I had to learn. So that was one of the first struggles in 2018 into 2019. Now things were going on smoothly. I won't lie. I was happy. I was going on well. I was living my life. I started making friends. And voila, 2019, was it February or March? I can't remember the exact day. I felt very sick. I'll give you a backdrop story because I know I've said this thing before here and I've never given you guys the full details. One day I went out with two of my friends that are Nigerians, and we went to this high-rising building. We went there. Like, it's like how many floors? Over how many floors? One of the highest buildings I've ever been to. And I remember immediately the elevator stopped on the highest floor. I had a little spin in my eye, but somewhere in my head I was like, maybe it's just the number of flights or how far the elevator had to go. We did the sightseeing, went back home. Before we came back home, we went to visit a Kenyan sister. Like, she's part of the African Association. I remember she gave us rice. I ate, and then I came back home. The next day was either a weekend or a public holiday because I know I slept in. Now at that time I was in talking stage with someone. He's kind of into the medical fields kind of thing. And I remember that day I woke up and my eye was spinning. Like, it felt like the entire room was just coming on my head. I did not understand what was happening. I immediately shut my eyes fast. When I finally opened my eye a little, I messaged this said person because, he's medical. I'm like, I don't know what's going on. My eye is spinning. And then he says, oh, maybe you've slept too long. Just started saying some things. But long and short, I should try and take a shower, try and eat something, and lie down back. I did everything, laid down back, slept a little, woke up at 2, and it was worse. This time around, I didn't even open my eye. The whole room felt like it was crashing on me. It was that bad. Immediately I told myself, with how this country is and how independent everybody's inside their house, if I stay here now, God forbid, and something happens to me, nobody will even know. I immediately dialed a country mate who immediately rushed to my dormitory, picked me up, like bundled me up, so that everybody can be looking at me and knowing what's going on. The next morning I went to the hospital, and that was the beginning of hospital to hospital, doctor to doctor with no diagnosis. They were just giving me drugs. Nobody knew what they were treating. I did x-rays, I did blood tests, I did scans, it was frustrating. Her public holiday came and passed. I couldn't resume school because I was a mess. Emotionally, mentally, I was so frustrated. Finally, my parents got to hear about this, and my mom got very worried. One of the days, my dad calls me and he's like, Choma, are you sure you will not come back? It was that bad. And I'm like, where is this coming from? He said he walked into the parlor, saw my mom lost in space, and then he asked her, what's going on again? And she's like, Chioma is just not fine, because I am very studious. Like, so for me to have been missing school back to back, my mom knew it was not a joke. I was really sick. I wasn't pretending. So she was like, for Chioma to be missing school, for Chioma, no, 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 something is wrong. And my dad was like, if it gets really bad, you need to come back home. It's better you're here and we know what's going on. Omo, at that point I was like, Chioma, I just held God by his garment. God, Alpha, you cannot bring me this far. What's going on? you know and one thing led to one thing. I finally got a doctor that was able to like treat me. I just got better, right? It was a phase, it was very trying, and that was the beginning of me really taking my health seriously. That's why you guys see me, I blend smoothie, I eat fruits, even though I don't like fruit, because guys, the money you think you're saving from fruits, because fruit is expensive, quote and unquote, the day you will spend it in the hospital, you will not like it. I spent a lot that phase, but I'm grateful for community that rallied around me during that period. So that one passed. I clocked 1 year in Japan, and I got this funding, so bigger funding. And my assistant professor goes, oh, I think we need to change your topic to a more biologically relevant topic, a bigger topic, a topic that this, that. And I'm just like, eh? As at this time, man, you guys, 1 year in, like I said, I was still struggling to fit in. Okay, I had started fitting into the field. I started doing well. I remember one of the seminars that time after I presented, and my professor goes, Choma, you've come a really long way. You should be proud of yourself. God, I was so emotional that day, because that was when I just recovered from that sickness. And to hear him say I've come a long way, because I know, I was just like, God, this is so good. It's a good sign. And just when it felt like I was getting a hang on it, they want to change my topic. So I was like, God, mind you, masters in Japan is 2 years. So I'm thinking to myself, I've been here for 1 year. I haven't gotten a good significant data that would permit me, like allow me to graduate. And now you're telling me to change topic. How am I sure I'll be able to get a data or a good result in less than 1 year? Because if you put in pre-defense and final defense, it's less than 1 year for me to graduate. I took up the challenge, and it was bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper to bumper. It was a struggle. I'm not even going to lie. I got my data almost like 1 week or 1 month to my pre-defense, but before I jumped to that, and so that was, let's say, 2019 ending. Now beginning of 2020 looked so hopeful, so beautiful. I traveled to Germany. I had a lot of conferences that were slated, trips to be made. I was feeling myself. And then what happened? COVID happened, spoiled everything. And aside COVID spoiling everything, COVID messed up with me mentally. What do I mean? Before I came to Japan, I had casually said that even before I do my PhD, like after master's to PhD, right, I was going to take at least a 1 month break to Nigeria to see my people, to rest. So COVID happened. I think I came back from Germany February ending, did my quarantine. I did my quarantine for like 2 weeks, and then resumed lab. Before school went on lockdown for 1 month. By this time I was struggling with data. I hadn't gotten enough data to graduate. So in that 1 month of lockdown, I was paranoid. And that was actually when I started Chilotalks, guys. Well, yeah, that's not what we're talking about today. Finally resumed school. Okay, my professor permitted me, because I needed data for graduation. So I was entering school when others were at home. Max on, with the fear of COVID. Everybody back at home calling, because that time it was looking like an Asian something. Everybody was scared, paranoid. I'll enter the lab, and then I think it was just like a month to my pre-defense. I finally got a good data, started rushing my thesis. But deep down within me, I wasn't happy, because I didn't know I wasn't going to travel, right? And I really wanted that rest. Like something you had, when you skip meat till after you finish eating, because that feeling, I had already kept it in my head that this was something that was going to happen. And now COVID was going to mess this for me. It was painful. So I remember after my final defense, Tabi walked up to me. She was like, that was a good defense. That was a good presentation. But why do you look so sad, guys? I went from high energy, in the defense hall to I fizzled out. I was so sad. I couldn't travel back to Nigeria to take the rest, see my people. And I remember one of the days I would just sit down, I would cry. I was dating my husband as at this time, like I was already dating my husband, you know. My boyfriend, my husband, then boyfriend would just be encouraging me, you know. That time I was so touchy. If you call me, if my family members call me, next thing I start crying. Like it was I was a mess. I was really a mess. And after I turned in my written thesis, I remember telling my professor, I'm burnt out. I need a month to just go and rest. And he saw it. He just told me, go, take all the break you wanted. So I left. I traveled to Almari for a week or so, but I took 1 month off school before I resumed PhD. So I resumed and I was so happy. See, I don't even know how my own used to go from this to high. Like that my sickness, I went back home. The same thing after I resumed school. Oh my energy was back up. I was like, I'm a PhD student. I was happy. I'm not gonna lie. I didn't even remember why I was sad again. I was just happy. I just accepted the fate of the world. I just kept telling myself, you didn't cause this. It's not your fault. Like God will sort it out and stuff like that. Fast forward to 2021, when it looked like the pandemic was not slowing down yet, yes, but at the same time, the different countries were beginning to find ways to, let people travel and come in, with the whole, you do a quarantine, and you take COVID test, PCR test, 3 days valid, all those things. So I took chances. At that 2021, I told myself, I'm traveling home. Like, I can't do this. By that time it was about 3 years. Like, so I told myself I would travel. And because I knew I would travel, and I told myself, okay, because I would travel, and my I was staying in the dormitory then, the contract there was going to expire. I said, okay, I'm going to move out. So in preparation for my trip, I started, house hunting, and then I found this place. Guys, if you watch the video of I regret this or worst experience so far, you know where I'm headed to with this part. And I got this accommodation. I was so happy because I got the accommodation like today. I was to leave for Nigeria that same week. So I just pushed my thing inside the house. That was 2021. And then rushed back and then traveled to Nigeria. But that was the worst neighbor I have ever had. You guys know the story. This guy would hit my ceiling. He would call the landlord on me. He would call my prof on me. I would take one footstep in that house. They are complaining that my footstep, I would be talking like I'm doing video. They are complaining. This is for me that doesn't used to play music like that. Like, it was just traumatic. So it was, I left Japan anxious because I started noticing the traits in that neighbor, but I thought it was not that bad. I came back and it was full-blown madness. So it was 3 months. I came back. I left Japan in August. I came back to Japan September ending. And I moved out of that house November because it was unbearable. So imagine living in a house for just about 3 months and having to rush, move to another house. God, guys, let's just say from August of 2021 till December was bad because aside my trip was nice. I really enjoyed the trip. It was what I wanted it to be. It was fun. I rested. But I mean, the whole thing just messed up my year after I came back. It was bad. So that was 2021. I think, yes. That was 2021. But, and then 2022, which was last year, what significant thing happened? I had delays. Hey, God. There's some things I cannot even really say now. But 2022 was the year of strained expectations. Like, do you understand? Things that I was due for, things that I was qualified for, things that I worked for. I watched them delay it. Like, I watched them move it, push it for no reason. I remember the crossover night of 2022. Okay, 2022, I got married. You guys know that one. And we're praying upstairs here, and I was just crying. My husband was just praying over me. I felt drained. I felt, the Bible says, delayed expectation strains the heart, something in that line. My heart was weak. And it's 2023, and I'm here smiling. Now, this is not to paint my whole 4 years as bad. Inside that 4 years, like I said, I was single pringle. I've gotten married, finished my master's in flying colors, started my PhD, got fundings. I have presented in so many conferences, won awards, gotten patents, traveled to Nigeria 2 times. There's been so many big wins. Lived by God's grace, a significant amount of my stay in Japan has been healthy. Aside that 2019 escapade, I've been so healthy. I have not been to a proper general practitioner since that 2019 for a long time, except dentists. It's me and dentists that are now doing bestie in this country. But on the average, I've been healthy. So this video is not trying to paint that my stay here has been all bad. It's been good. You guys know I've done a video here where I said I never wanted to study in Japan. Another video where I also just recounted the good part. But this particular video is just to give context that it's a marathon, not a sprint. Maybe that's how they say it, because a lot of you watch, reach out and then just feeling frustrated. Oh, I came single. Oh, finances. So what I'm just trying to say here is, okay, I didn't talk about my faith. Guys, when it comes to that COVID period, now this video is all over the place because I'm getting all up in my emotions. It's nostalgic. When that COVID happened, God, I was okay. Two things that really made me hold God by his garments, like hold him, like God, what's going on, and shook my faith a bit. Two major things, or three major things that has happened that really shook my faith in Japan. The first is my sickness. I remember going for rehearsals because I used to be very active in the worship team here in my church, and I remember going for rehearsals one of those days. Pre-COVID days, we used to have rehearsals on Saturdays, and Pastor says, I remember I was on a face cap, and Pastor goes, Chioma, are you fine? Guys, floodgate of heaven, like, just, are you fine? I started crying. Rehearsals now turned to pray for Chioma. Everybody stretch your hands towards Sister Chioma and start praying for her. That was how frustrated that sickness made me feel. I just felt like, God, where are you? So that was one time. Another time that my faith, I was holding God very well was COVID. The whole, oh God, I didn't know why I was so sad. Even when my mom, my family, everybody were calling and telling me, it's okay. Where there is life, there is hope. I don't know why I was so sad. I think it's just because for 2 years of being here, that was something I had kept my mind on. And so it just shattered my hope. So I was so sad, and I just had to run back to school. Some days when I go back, because I journal when I'm sad, especially when I'm sad or I have prayer requests. I journal a lot. Some days when I go back to that journal, I see the things I wrote, the times I cried. I'm just like, I've come a very long way, guys. That's the second time. And then the third time, this my neighbor. Hey, God. I now moved to a house that was so tiny. Any small humidity, mold is growing everywhere. I was just like, God, what is this? I prayed before I made that deposit. I prayed before I chose that house. La 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 la. It was so bad. So I don't know why I'm making this video. I just had a very strong feeling to do this video. Besides the inspiration I got from Aobiwom for 4 years recap, I just feel like with the influx of people, telling me that they are coming to Japan and all, I just want to encourage you and say, the journey might not be linear, but it's a beautiful journey. Be intentional about it. Take God with you. And do I have any regrets? Hell no. If you ask me if I'm going to do this again, someone asked me that in my get to know me tag, if I would do this again like Japan, and my answer, yes. Give me again. I don't regret anything. This journey, this part, I was supposed to pass through Japan. Nothing you can tell me. So it's been a beautiful journey. It's been beautiful 4 years. I've had so many wins. I've had good times, bad times, but on the average, if you want to count, give me let's say over 100%, I've had 80% of good times. But this is just to let you guys relate in case any of these areas, stuff like that. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope this video helps someone. I hope you find this video helpful, and if you do, please give this video a thumbs up, drop a comment, like, share, subscribe, and all those good things. And congratulations once again. See you next time on Chilotalks, guys. Bye for now, guys.